The stale, metallic air of the derelict separatist core ship hung heavy, thick with the dust of ages and the faint, unsettling scent of ozone. Luke Skywalker moved with a quiet urgency, his boots whispering on the grated floor, each step bringing him closer to a confrontation he wished could be avoided. His quest for the elusive Sith Wayfinder had led him here, to this decaying tomb of a vessel, but it was not the ancient artifact that truly weighed on his spirit. It was the presence of a soul he desperately hoped to save, yet one he knew was teetering on the precipice of absolute darkness. Kiza. Kiza, an acolyte, drawn by the whispers of forgotten power, now a vessel for something far older and more malevolent. The spirit of the ancient Sith Lord Exum Panshard had found a new host, a new conduit through which to reassert its terrible will. Luke had followed the trail of dark energy, a signature almost unbearable in its intensity, knowing that Kiza was no longer entirely herself. He approached what remained of the ship's bridge, the air growing colder, heavy with a suffocating malevolence that spoke of a battle already lost within Kiza's own mind. Suddenly, a crimson blade ignited, casting grotesque shadows across the crumbling consoles. Kiza stood silhouetted against the dim emergency lights, her form subtly distorted by the dark side's influence, her face obscured by a menacing, ancient mask. The mask, a relic tied to Panshard, seemed to pulse with a malevolent life of its own, almost breathing the darkness it contained. This wasn't Kiza, not truly. It was Exum Panshard, manifesting through her, a puppet master pulling tragic strings. Kiza. Luke's voice was gentle yet firm, cutting through the hum of the corrupted lightsaber. You don't have to do this. Fight it. Fight the mask's influence. But the answer was a guttural snarl, alien and cold, followed by a sudden, devastating lunge. Luke's own blade, the familiar hum of his green lightsaber, sprang to life, parrying the furious attack. The clash of plasma on plasma echoed through the collapsing ship, a desperate symphony of light and shadow. Luke defended, his movements economical, precise, yet imbued with a profound reluctance. Every block, every deflection, was a plea, a silent cry to the woman beneath the mask. He could feel her anguish, a faint whisper of Kiza's true self buried deep beneath the roaring darkness. This wasn't a fight for victory. It was a desperate attempt to sever the parasitic bond that consumed her. He moved to disarm, to disable, to find any means necessary to free her, even as Exum Panshard, through Kiza's form, unleashed a torrent of force lightning, shattering control panels and sending showers of sparks across the decaying deck. The ship groaned, already weakened by years of neglect and the escalating forces unleashed within its hull. This isn't you, Kiza, Luke pressed, his voice strained as he parried another powerful strike. You can still choose, break free. But the answer was a guttural snarl, alien and cold, followed by a sudden, devastating lunge. Luke's own blade, the familiar hum of his green lightsaber, sprang to life, parrying the furious attack. The clash of plasma on plasma echoed through the collapsing ship, a desperate symphony of light and shadow. Luke defended, his movements economical, precise, yet imbued with a profound reluctance. Every block, every deflection was a plea, a silent cry to the woman beneath the mask. He could feel her anguish, a faint whisper of Kiza's true self buried deep beneath the roaring darkness. This wasn't a fight for victory. It was a desperate attempt to sever the parasitic bond that consumed her. He moved to disarm, to disable, to find any means necessary to free her, even as Exum Panshard, through Kiza's form, unleashed a torrent of force lightning, shattering control panels and sending showers of sparks across the decaying deck. The ship groaned, already weakened by years of neglect and the escalating forces unleashed within its hull. This isn't you, Kiza, Luke pressed, his voice strained as he parried another powerful strike. you can still choose, break free. But the mask, that ancient, insidious conduit, held its grip tight. Kiza moved with a speed and ferocity that was unsettling, a testament to the ancient Sith Lord's raw power. Her eyes, visible through the mask's slits, glowed with an unnatural, furious red. It was clear that Exim was not merely influencing her, it was overriding her, using her body as a weapon, her life as a sacrifice. The integrity of the ship, already precarious, began to truly fail. Explosions rocked the vessel's skeleton, dust and debris raining down as structural supports buckled. The very floor beneath their feet began to crumble. The duel continued amidst the chaos, a desperate dance on the edge of an abyss. Luke, with a heavy heart, pushed Kiza back, trying to gain space, trying to find an opening, not to defeat her, but to free her. He saw a flicker, a momentary hesitation in her movements, perhaps a brief glimpse of the woman struggling within. But it was too late. The cumulative damage, the raw power of the force unleashed within its dying frame, proved too much for the core ship. With a final, deafening shriek of tearing metal, the bridge began to cave in. Luke reacted instinctively, pushing away from the collapsing ceiling, narrowly avoiding being crushed. He turned back to Kiza, a desperate hand outstretched. But in that same agonizing moment, a massive section of the ceiling, a heavy beam of twisted durasteel, gave way directly above her. There was no time to react, no force push strong enough to divert it. Kiza, still encased in the malevolent mask, still possessed by the ancient evil, was consumed by the falling rubble. A muffled thud, a cloud of dust, and then silence. Only the groaning of the dying ship remained. She was gone, not by Luke's hand, but by the very destructive power that had claimed her. A victim of the darkness she had sought to control, the power she had allowed to consume her. The mask, the conduit of Exim, lay buried beneath the debris. Its influence extinguished, but the cost had been unbearable. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the settling dust and the creaking death throes of the ship. Luke stood amidst the wreckage, his lightsaber extinguished, its green blade a stark contrast to the crimson that had just been. The weight of Kiza's loss settled upon him, heavy and cold. It wasn't just a defeat, it was a tragedy. Another soul consumed, another life extinguished by the seductive, insidious power of the Sith. This moment, in the desolate heart of a forgotten vessel, served as a stark and painful reminder for Luke. The dark side offered power, yes, but at an unimaginable cost. It promised control, but delivered only destruction. Kiza, in her misguided quest, was consumed, becoming a casualty of a force far greater and more sinister than she could comprehend. Her death, tragic and sudden, reinforced a terrible truth Luke knew all too well. The pursuit of the dark side, in the end, only leads to ruin, not just for its wielder, but for all those caught in its devastating weight. It was a lesson he would carry with him, a heavy burden of compassion and sorrow for those who fall to its allure. As we reflect on Kiza's story and Luke's heartbreaking encounter, it offers a poignant look at the perils of unchecked ambition and the enduring, destructive nature of the dark side. It reminds us that even heroes like Luke Skywalker cannot save everyone, and that some battles, though fought with the purest intentions, still end in tragedy. What are your thoughts on Kiza's fate? How do you think this moment shaped Luke's understanding of the dark side? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you found this story compelling, please consider following for more journeys into the heart of the galaxy. Until next time, may the Force be with you.